And once again, ladies, gentlemen, it's nice to see you one more time. So let's check what we are going to do today in the next to last session of this level, of level 5. So let's first begin with the schedule, as always. According to the schedule, um, oh, this is not the schedule. I'm sorry. Give me a second. This is the one. Yeah. This is the real one. So, according to the schedule, today and the day after tomorrow, I mean on Saturday, we will have a meeting at 6 p.m. in order to be able to explain what we are going to do in activity number 4, the video presentation, my new project, speaking. ¿Vale? So, according to the learning guide, we are going to present this activity before the 19th of November. So we have 6 days to present this activity and all the other activities. I mean, the project in terms of writing, the forum, and the test. So we have 4 activities we have to present before the 19th. I mean, we have until the 19th of November to present all of them. ¿Vale? We have 4 activities and that's it. We only have 4 activities. So in this occasion, according to the learning guide, we are going to present this. I'm going to switch to Spanish because the learning guide is mentioned here in Spanish. Durante la siguiente evidencia deberá utilizar la presentación realizada por usted anteriormente y exponer esas ideas mediante un corto video activando su cámara web de forma oral, mencionar ideas expuestas respecto a su proyecto. Tenga en cuenta el desarrollo de un guión o estructura, you already have that, a través de una herramienta como PowerPoint, Image o Prezi, ya tienen eso, en la que se disponga la presentación con 5 diapositivas mientras usted realiza su comentario. Debe incluir los siguientes elementos: diapositiva de portada, diapositiva de actividades, ¿listo? Utilizando condicionales, this is the most important part, utilizando condicionales zero y first como diversos conectores para unir frases de su relato. Estructura del video con cámara web, cuando grabe el video, tenga en cuenta fotos, imágenes y textos que usen la diapositiva. Debe ser un apoyo visual para denotar su pronunciación y su aprendizaje inicial del curso del uso del inglés. So, I'm going to mention this part in Spanish, even though it's level 5, but this is a little important because I have seen many mistakes with this activity. Bien, lo que vamos a hacer para esta ocasión entonces es prácticamente la misma evidencia. Es lo mismo que hemos hecho con otras evidencias en niveles 4, 3, 2 y 1, ¿cierto? En donde usted en nivel 1, 2, 3 y 4 lo que hacía era que en la evidencia número 4 era entregar una actividad en formato de video y esa actividad en formato de video incluía unas diapositivas en las que usted explicaba su rutina diaria, explicaba un miembro de la familia, mencionaba una tienda, creo que era la otra opción, y decía qué había hecho prepandemia, ¿no? Cómo eran sus hábitos previos a la pandemia. Creo que eran esas las 4 evidencias de los 4 niveles previos que usted realizó. El nivel 5 es un poquito peculiar, podríamos decirlo, porque la misma actividad, esa misma evidencia que usted normalmente entrega en los niveles 1, 2, 3 y 4 está dividida en 2 partes. La actividad número 3 es la versión escrita y la actividad número 4 es esa misma evidencia pero en versión oral, ¿sí? Así que, digamos, es la misma evidencia pero fragmentada, partida, dividida, bifurcada en 2 mitades, ¿sí? La primera es la versión escrita y la segunda parte es la versión oral. ¿Por qué he devuelto varios ejercicios de varias evidencias relacionadas con esta actividad, por cierto? Bueno, lo he hecho porque efectivamente lo que nos pide la guía de aprendizaje es que utilicemos zero y first conditional. Por ese detalle es que hemos tenido que repetir varias veces esta actividad. Si a usted no le tocó, genial, pero si a usted ya le tocó mirar que decía esta evidencia requiere el uso de condicionales zero y first principalmente, es precisamente por eso. Entonces, como la evidencia es la misma, solo que partida en 2 mitades, pues si usted tiene bien la parte escrita, evidentemente la parte oral va a ser sencilla porque va a ser solamente pronunciar o leer lo que usted ya tiene previamente realizado, ¿vale? Me regreso entonces. Entonces le comentaba, esa evidencia número 4 es la misma número 3, es exactamente igual. Lo que pasa es que está partida en dos mitades. La evidencia número 3 es la versión escrita, la evidencia número 4 es la versión hablada, ¿cierto? En la que usted se expone, al igual que lo he hecho en el nivel 4, en el nivel 3, en el nivel 2 y en el nivel 1, y seguirá haciendo en niveles superiores. Usted se va a exponer en video y va a leer lo que usted tiene en esta actividad, ¿vale? Entonces, recuerde que esta actividad incluye condicionales zero y first. Si no los tiene, pues hay que utilizarlos. Por más que usted utilice futuro will, lo que necesita es que usted maneje los condicionales zero y first, como mínimo una frase de zero, como mínimo una frase de first condition. Esto no lo hemos visto todavía, pero vamos a proceder a revisarlos el día de hoy y pasado mañana, pero son bastante sencillos. De hecho, la semana pasada lo que hicimos fue profundizar mucho en el futuro will, que era el manejo, un futuro que nos iba a servir como base para crear el first condition, ¿vale? Habiendo dicho eso, pues un recorderis, ahora sí switch to English because this is level 5, so I'm going to mention everything in English as you know this. Let's remember, we have until the 19th of November to present all activities, the video presentation, the presentation in terms of writing. The activity is exactly the same, but evidence number 3 is written and evidence number 4 is spoken. That's the difference. Evidence 2 is the forum and evidence 1 is the test. So you have to present 4 activities before the 19th. I mean, until 19th at midnight. But let's remember that I give you feedback with anticipation so you can see if your evidence is correctly made or not really. So if it's not correctly made, I mean, it's not following the learning guide requirements, I will ask you to please repeat it. If it's correct, I'm going to give you feedback. Maybe you typed I in lowercase, and so I'm going to tell you that, and so on. But this is the less important situation here. What it really matters is that you follow the rules. I mean, you follow the instructions of the learning guide. You will have until the 19th, ¿vale? So this is our schedule. This is our learning guide. We already mentioned this. We already know what we have to present. It's exactly the same activity, but divided into parts. Evidence 3 is written, evidence 4 is spoken. That's it. So thank you very much, learning guide. Thank you very much, schedule. Let's go with Zayuna, the web page. As you know, we always do this. In order to be able to present the activity, we go to Zayuna. In Zayuna, we go to our course, in this case, English as Work Level 5. And here in English as Work Level 5, okay. In English as Work Level 5, when we go to, give me a second, this is better on this way. Okay. When we are in level 5, we click in Video Presentación, mi nuevo proyecto. And in order to be able to upload our evidence, we're going to do it through this, on this way, ¿vale? So we are in Sayuna, we click in video presentación, mi nuevo proyecto, and then click here in agregar entrega. By the way, if your video is too long, maybe the platform is not going to accept it because once again, it's too long. What can you do if you cannot upload the video, the MP4 document, right? Folder or evidence or activity. In that case, I suggest you, and this is just a suggestion, to upload your evidence in YouTube and click here or type here or copy and paste here the link of YouTube here so I can check it in my YouTube account. Okay. This is the first option. The second option is for you to use WinZip or WinRAR to compress your document so you can upload the information in here. ¿Vale? So these are the two options for you to present this activity. And one more thing, what can we take into account to present this activity if you are not able to present the games of the class because you're not present here, but you are checking the recordings. So in that case, in Componente Formativo, things I'm going to do is locating the information you're going to need to present these activities. So in here, it's explained what are conditionals and how they work. ¿Vale? Okay, this is it for Sajuna. Thank you very much, Sajuna. Oh, wait a minute. Finally, if you need to know what are your grades, because you want to know if you passed an activity or not really, because it has some mistakes. In this case, once again, because you're not following the learning guide. So please follow the learning guide requirements. So if you want to see your grades in the panel de navegación, you're going to find a link called, oh, it got lost. Oh yes, here it is. Called calificaciones or grades, depends on the configuration. ¿Vale? So in here, you're going to find two possibilities, an A that means approved or a D that means failed. So here in the feedback, retroalimentación, you're going to have a comment saying, okay, the mistake is here, 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 or this is my suggestion, or you did an excellent job, or you have to repeat the activity according to the learning guide, and so on. So please take it into account in order to be able to present your activities, ¿vale? In calificaciones. So let's remember, if you have questions, don't forget to type them in the chat as a. Oh yes, of course, yes. If you cannot or you don't want to, or it's not possible to upload the video to YouTube because sometimes it has you have to meet some kind of permissions and so on, you can share with me the link of a Drive. This is perfect. This is okay. Don't worry. So I can accept that, of course. But take into account that if you are sharing with me the link of a of Drive, I don't have to ask you for permission to open it because sometimes in Drive, the information you have in Drive is available only by giving permission to the user. So please be careful with that. So let it open so I can check the information freely. ¿Vale? So that's it. Don't worry. If you cannot upload the information, the video in YouTube, you can do it. You can share with me the Drive link. ¿Vale? Okay. So being said that, let's continue with our topics for today's topics. But let's do a quick recap of what we did last time. Last time, I'm not going to mention everything we were talking about last week. Of course not, because this is a quick recap and we need to spend this time, this valuable time doing something we haven't studied yet. So last time we were talking about future will, and future will is used mainly to take spontaneous decisions to predict the future, but this future is going to be predicted in terms of experience and opinions, not in true or real evidence or facts. We have no numbers, we just have experience. And finally, to make promises. These are the three most important reasons why we study future will: to take spontaneous decisions, to predict the future, and to make promises. We also said that to create the future will, we are going to here it is. We're going to make a comparison. We made, in fact, a comparison between present simple tense and future will. Because we said for affirmative sentences in simple present tense, we need a person who performs an action. I work, she studies, they believe in God, let's suppose that. So this is everything. We need a person or a group of people who perform an action, person and verb, right? In future tense, for affirmative sentences, we need a person who performs an action, but in the future. So how can we predict, how can we mention that we are going to do something in the future? The translation, so we are going to use the word will. And the translation of the word will is going to be like re, ras, ran, remos, ra. So it has a lot of sense only when it's accompanied, it has the company of a main verb. Otherwise, it is not going to be understandable. So it's going to modify, give asteroids, change, give a meaning to the main verb. So that's why it always comes before the main verb. In simple present tense, we had she studies, right? Or they work, or we believe, or I watch TV, let's suppose. In future, we are only going to add a word, and this word is going to be will. And let's remember that when we have an additional word, an additional verb, an auxiliary verb, when we have this situation, the main verb is going to be in its verb form, I mean, in infinitive. ¿Vale? Take that into account. So that's why when we use a woman, a man, or an animal to create an action in the future, we say, for example, Mariana will dance. The verb dance, the main verb, is not modified. What about negative sentences? Let's remember that in simple present tense, we use the auxiliary verb do or does to create negative sentences and also to create questions. And for negative sentences, this word, the auxiliary verb, is modified by adding not, right? Okay, we are going to do something similar here because for negative sentences in affirmative, for negative sentences in future simple tense, we are also going to have an auxiliary verb, will. Also for questions, and this is going to replace the use of do or does. So in terms of grammar, it's pretty similar to simple present tense. Why are we mentioning this? Because we are going to use this tense for to create a first conditional. Okay. So this is everything, the most important thing, not everything, but the most important thing we were talking about last week. Now let's focus on what we are going to do today. So what are we going to do today? We are going to talk about conditionals. So when we are talking about conditionals, we are talking about a situation, an hypothetical situation that when it happens, if something happens, when we have this situation, taking into account that this is happening in this moment, right? We are going to have a consequence. We have a cause and we have an effect. So if this situation happens, then the result is going to be this. So if for example, if we have children, let's suppose that this is an hypothesis, then the result is that we are going to have a bigger family. That's obvious, right? If rains in Spain, in Valencia, let's see something about what happened in Spain some days ago. If it rains more in Valencia, maybe more catastrophes are going to happen in that city in Spain. If the day is cloudy tomorrow, I will not wear sunscreen. If this happens, when we have this situation, this hypothetical situation, because this is not going to be a fact for now, because this needs to happen, when we have an initial, a beginning, a starting situation, when this happens, we also have a result. It's like when we are playing billiards. We have We have many balls: black, yellow, white, green, violet, and so on. When we hit the white ball, this white ball is going to hit the other balls. So when we do this activity, this action, the first activity is punching a white ball. The result is that the other balls are going to, some of them are going to be are going to fall in the hole. Some others are going to move around the table and so on. So this is the result. We have a cause and we are going to have an effect. This is the idea of a condition. That's why they are called conditionals, right? Because we have a starting point, and when this situation is true, is real, it happens, we are going to have a result, an ending point. That's why they are called conditionals. So to talk about conditionals, we need then a cause and an effect. That's pretty obvious. The cause, the beginning situation, the starting point, is going to be related, is going to be known, is going to be easy to check, to identify, because this starting sentence is going to have an additional word, the condition. And this condition could be called if, and also can be called whether. So what's the difference between if and whether? Well, because sometimes we can exchange them. They are interchangeable. Sometimes we can use whether, sometimes we can use if. They are synonyms? Yes and no. Sometimes they can be exchangeable, sometimes, but not always. Because whether is used to express two possibilities. So, for example, in the game, in the Soccer World Cup for 2026, Colombia can go to the Soccer World Cup to the United States, or could not go. We have only two possibilities: or goes there, I mean the team, or doesn't go there, or yes or no. In a tennis match, the players can win or can lose. They cannot draw, right? In a basketball match, the same happens. Whether the Chicago Bulls win the tournament, the players win the tournament, or they lose, because we have only two possibilities: or yes or no, left or right, that up or down, nothing else. We only have two possibilities, two alternatives. So this is when we use whether. What about if? Because in both occasions, in both situations, the translation is sí, but not si pasa esto, entonces esto, right? This is a condition. Whether is used when we only have two possibilities, two alternatives. Meanwhile, if is used, or the translation could be like, if something is the case, then we are having this result. For example, if we get a new job, if we resign from this job, then, or what's going to happen next is that we can get another job, we will travel to India, we will study a master, we will stay at home, we will retire, we are going to do nothing, we are going to live under the bridge. This is a little tragic, but let's suppose that. So there are many possibilities for this. When we have if, let's think that we have a tree, and with this tree, we have many branches, we have many options, many possibilities. If is giving us a series of options, a series of results. ¿Vale? Whether is only is used for to mention only two possibilities, no more than that, or black or white, nothing else. ¿Vale? So this is the difference between if and whether, and they are going to be used in conditional first, zero, second, third. ¿Vale? So just take it into account because these are going to be very important. This is a very common question. What's the difference between if and whether? Because the translation is exactly the same. Sí, right? So this is the translation. Sí. But once again, not ¿quiere comer algo? Sí. No, this is not the translation. The translation is si llueve, entonces, right? Because we are using conditionals. Okay, so first to take into account. Second part, what are conditionals? We already mentioned that. Conditionals come from the word condition. I mean, in the situation or in the circumstance. So when this event happens, then the other event is true, or the other event has a huge probability to happen, or a moderate probability to happen, or a reduced probability to happen. So when we have this situation A, the result is situation B. So this is a conditional. So they describe a result of a possible situation. And as we mentioned before, we have a cause and an effect, right? We can have first the cause and then the effect, or vice versa, and both are possible, but we need a cause and an effect. The cause is going to be mentioned, is going to be recognized because we have the word if. So this is the cause. If you study hard, this is the option A, the result, right? The answer, the conclusion of doing this activity is that you will pass your exams. Or we can mention it in vice versa. You will pass your exams if you study hard. First the conclusion and then the hypothesis, right? The starting point and the ending point, or the ending point and the starting point. This is possible. We can use, we can exchange them, ¿vale? So we have two ideas. As we mentioned, we have the condition and we have the result. We can exchange them in terms of order. We can have the result and then the condition, or vice versa, the condition first and the result later. Doesn't matter. But take into account that they must be together. They cannot be separated. They need to be together. They are like Siamese brothers. Okay, they are like a couple. They are like doors with a car, right? Or windows in a car, or wheels in a motorcycle. They have to be together. They cannot be separated. Doesn't matter if the condition comes at the beginning or the end. Doesn't matter, but they need to be together. Otherwise, we are not going to understand what's happening there. For example, I ask for directions. Okay, is understandable? A little, because we need more context. In what context am I asking for directions, right? This is not completely understandable. ¿Vale? Let's see the other part of this conditional. If I get lost, what happens if I get lost? I can die starving. I will ask for directions. I will take a cab. I will go to another country. I will sleep in the street. What's going to happen, right? We need more information here. So they cannot be separated. They need to be together in order to understand what's happening there. ¿Vale? They need to be on the same line. ¿Vale? So what else can we mention? We also said that we can have the cause and the effect, or the effect and then the cause, right? But let's be careful with this. When we have the effect at the beginning, we have the sentence, then if, and then the other sentence. However, if we have the cause at the beginning, we need to use grammar. We need to use a comma, because otherwise we are not going to be able, we are not going, it's not going to be easy for us to understand when the cause starts and begins. And in the same way, when the effect starts and when the effect begins. Okay? So I'm going to mention this in a moment later. Okay, so we have four types of conditionals. We have zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional. So this is something we are going to study in this level and also in level 6. But for now, we are going to focus in zero conditional and first conditional. What do we do with zero conditional? Why is this important? Why do we have to care about this? Why is this useful? Well, zero conditional talks about facts, situations that are true, something that when we have a cause, the effect is 100% predictable. We know that for experience, for data, for numbers, for family, for whatever, right? We have 100% certainty that this is going to happen. So, for example, if we drink water, we hydrate our body. So this is 100% true. This is a fact. We don't need to be a rocket science. This is not rocket science. We don't need to be scientists to understand that, to know that, because we know water hydrates our body. So zero conditional predicts a future with 100% of certainty. I mean, when we have a situation, a starting situation, right, a beginning situation, we are going to know with 100% of certainty what's going to happen as a result. We have this first situation, the result is predictable. Okay? So that's why we use zero conditional, especially for scientific laws or rules, right? For example, if we want to be more thorough, thorough, when we want to go deeper in the knowledge, that's the meaning of thorough, cuando queremos ser un poco más precisos, exhaustivos in our knowledge. So we use zero conditional to talk about general habits. For example, if I am tired, present simple, I go to bed early. And this is true because this is what I always do since I was 4 years old. When I was tired, I used to go to bed, or I used to stay in the couch, or take a nap, or whatever, right? Because every time I do this, every time this happens, my behavior, my attitude is predictable and is related to do this. So this is for general habits, something predictable. We are predictables, right? Sorry. What else? To talk about permanent facts or permanent truths. For example, this is true both in Colombia, in Brazil, in China, in Russia, in whatever place you want, because if you heat water to 100 centigrade degrees, it boils. So this is a scientific fact. We have the starting situation, and the prediction is 100% true everywhere, right? The third situation, or why we use a zero conditional, to give instructions. For example, I tell to my son or daughter or my employee or my uncle or my aunt or my nephew, niece, or whatever, if it rains, don't go to the playground. This is an instruction, not necessarily an order, but it could be. So if we have this situation, the prediction is that you are not going to go there, right? and we have this starting point, we have this ending point, and it's 100% predictable because you are not going to go because if you go, you are going to suffer the consequences, and you don't want to suffer these consequences, right? So this is an instruction because I'm older or elder than you. So this is an instruction. Not necessarily good family. It could be, for example, in an organization, or for example, in a high school, university, or whatever, right? So how can we create sentences for a zero conditional? Well, let's remember the first sentence, I mean the cause sentence, the sentence that's going to be the beginning point, is going to have the word if, and the result is going to be separated with a comma when this activity number one, I mean the cause, comes at the beginning and the effect comes at the end. Right? So for zero conditional, we need simple present tense. That's it. Nothing else. We only need simple present tense. Condition and result. If the condition comes at the beginning, we need to use the word if and separate both sentences with a comma. Or we can have the effect at the beginning with simple present tense and separate the cause, the starting point, the hypothesis with an if, and this hypothesis is going to be mentioned in simple present tense. Example, we could say, if snakes are scared, this is the starting point, the cause. They bite, this is the effect, the ending point. We could also reorganize this and say, snakes bite if they are scared. This is exactly the same. So we only reorganize the sentence. That's it. Another example, because this is predictable, by the way. If you mix hydrogen and oxygen, you get water, right? Chemistry from in cartoons, right? And vice versa. You get water if you mix hydrogen and oxygen. So simple present tense, simple present tense. And the other example, if you keep milk in the fridge, this is the cause, it lasts longer. This is the effect. Simple present tense and simple present tense. Or vice versa. Milk lasts longer. This is the effect if you keep it in the fridge, and this is the cause. Remember, we need present simple tense and simple present tense. And this is true because we are predicting something that's 100% predictable, giving a situation, a starting situation. ¿Vale? Okay, this is it. This is everything we need to know. And as always, we are going to practice these exercises with games. Therefore, let's go to Kahoot. Let's begin with Kahoot, then we will go with quizzes and Jeopardy, and we will finish with another game. So we're many today. This is great. We're going to play this. 3 minutes is more than enough. That's good. I guess this is new for you, therefore I'm going to give you the instructions in a second. How many are you, by the way? You are 2, 4, 6. Okay, let's go Team Earth. Goodbye. Okay, this is the link for the game. Meanwhile, I'm going to give you the instructions in Spanish for now, and then I'm going to switch to English. Por ahora, el equipo rojo debe pelear contra el equipo azul o viceversa. ¿Cómo lo vamos a hacer? Creando la torre más alta, ¿vale? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we can start now. So to do that, you are going to answer correctly the questions you are going to have in your device, in your cell phone or computer. That's pretty coherent, right? And once you complete 3 correct answers, you're going to have these blocks of good cement, iron. I don't know what's this material. I think it's cement. And once you get 3 of these, 3 blocks of cement, you're going to throw them, let them fall to the building in order to create a new story. Okay? Una vez hayan respondido correctamente 3 preguntas, van a tener estos 3 bloquecitos de cemento, creo que es esto, no sé si es plástico, hierro, no sé. Y el objetivo es que ustedes creen una torre, ¿sí? Entonces van a soltar estos bloquecitos de cemento en esta torre. La idea es que ustedes los pongan de manera paralela en todo el piso para que tengan la torre más alta, ¿vale? So, this is the idea. This is the example. By the way, because you're in a competition, once your tower takes this monster, it arrives to this monster, your team is going to be able to stop the advance of your rival team. Cuando su equipo haya conseguido capturar al monstruico, es decir, cuando haya botado los bloquecitos hasta que caiga en la cabecita del monstruico, su equipo va a tener la posibilidad de frenar el avance de su equipo rival. ¿Vale? Okay, that's it. So, break a leg. Three minutes. Don't forget to aim. No se olviden de apuntar. Team Frog. 20 seconds left. Seven seconds. And time up. Okay, so at the end of the game, second place, this is for red team with 3 story piso, no? And the first place is for blue team with 4 stories. What happened here is that blue team or horse team aimed better, had a better aim. Tuvieron un mejor, apuntaron mejor, no? So that's why they got the first place. They got 4 stories. Tuvieron 4 pisos. Okay, so well done. Let's go with another game because I know this is a. In order to better understand this kind of exercises, it's better to keep doing exercise. Okay, so let's go with a quizzes. Then we will go to with a Jeopardy, and I'm going to give you an exercise for you to complete at home. Right? It has only 8 questions, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be very easy for you. And you're going to complete it fast, I guess. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is taking some time. Okay, we will leave it for later if it works. If it works, this is a condition in this case. And we are going to continue talking using or doing another exercise. And the idea of this exercise is for you to speak. So if you cannot open the microphone, I will ask you to please type your answer here in the chat. So let's say you have to give me the answer. ¿Vale? So true or false? You will have to tell me if the sentence is true or false. So if you freeze water, it becomes solid. So this is true or false. Si usted congela el agua, esta se vuelve sólida. And the answer is obviously true, right? Because you are freezing a liquid. So this is true. Complete the sentence. You will have to tell me what could be next in here. If I wake up late, let's suppose this is not, there is not a single option. There is not a single correct answer because many things may happen. Y si me levanto tarde, pierdo el bus. Si me levanto tarde, descanso más. Si me levanto tarde, veo televisión. I don't know, whatever, right? So there is not a single correct answer. But in this case, we're going to guess. Give me a moment, give me a moment. Se me fue. Estoy un poquito perdida en el tema. We're using conditionals, 0 conditionals in this case. Do you mean, are you talking about that? I'm not pretty sure if you're talking about subject I, you, we, she, it. I don't think so. Or the subject, the topic we are studying, and this is conditional 0. And we need to use simple present tense as a cause and simple present tense as an effect. I don't know what else. What's your specific question? Because I'm a little lost too. I don't really understand your question. I'm sorry for this. Or are you talking about the game, perhaps? Okay. Okay. Okie doke. Vale. I'm going to mention this in Spanish just in case so you can better understand the topic. Vale. Just in case. Empecemos por acá. Vamos a utilizar condicionales, que es lo que nos pide la guía de aprendizaje, ¿vale? ¿Para qué utilizamos condicionales? Para mencionar que cuando tenemos una situación inicial, una causa, una versión inicial de una situación, siempre vamos a tener un efecto. Entonces, ese efecto puede ser 100% predecible, 80% predecible, 50% predecible o totalmente imaginario, porque, digamos, si yo fuese un fantasma, pues, a ver, ¿cómo predecimos eso? Porque es que eso es una cuestión hipotética, porque eso nunca se va a dar, porque no vamos a ser fantasmas en este momento, ¿cierto? No tiene sentido. Vamos a utilizar condicionales para decir, dada esta situación A, cuando esta situación sucede, se lleva a cabo, se realiza, vamos a tener como resultado esta situación B. Como les ponía el ejemplo, tenemos una mesita de billar. Si le pegamos a la pelotica blanca, esa es la causa, el efecto, y esto suponiendo que juguemos billar, ¿no? Por eso es un condicional, dada esta situación. Dada la situación de que jugamos billar y le pegamos a la pelotica blanca, el resultado es que la pelotica morada, negra, roja, violeta, no sé qué más, bueno, y las otras se van a mover, algunas se van a meter a los huequitos estos, otras se van a dispersar. Ese es el efecto, causa-efecto, ese es un condicional. Para mencionar la causa vamos a utilizar bueno, para mencionar condicionales vamos a tener una causa como es una frase y un efecto con otra frase. Para recordar cuál es una causa, la situación inicial, vamos a utilizar la palabrita condicional que va a significar if o whether. En ambos casos significan sí, pero ¿cuál es la diferencia entre whether e if? Que whether me va a decir, tengo dos opciones, izquierda o derecha, arriba o abajo, adentro o afuera, o ganar o perder, ¿cierto? No hay más. Mientras que if es como si fuese un árbol y tengo una multiplicidad de ramales que a los que puedo llegar. Si seguimos, si seguimos de pareja, celebraremos nuestro aniversario número 3, opción uno, viendo Netflix, opción 2, viendo cine, opción 3, saliendo del país, opción 4, aplicando para una beca, opción 5, estudiando juntos, opción 6, cuddling, no quiero decir esa palabra en español, opción 7, no sé, viendo teatro, no sé, alguna cosa. Cuando tenemos if, tenemos un resultado que puede ser muy variado, ¿sí? Esa es la diferencia. Así que esa es la cuestión de los condicionales. Tenemos una causa y un efecto. El zero conditional, que es el que nos interesa en este momento, voy a hacerlo muy rápido por eso. El zero conditional lo que nos dice es, dada una situación A inicial, vamos a tener un efecto que va a ser 100% predecible. Esto es válido aquí en la Conchinchina, en la Luna, para hombres, para mujeres, para niños, etc. Entonces le decía, si usted toma agua, pues usted se hidrata. Eso es sí, totalmente predecible, ¿cierto? Si usted se corta, pues le duele. Es totalmente predecible, ¿cierto? Ese es un cero condicional. Cuando tenemos una situación hipotética A, si es que se da, porque es posible que no se dé, pero en caso hipotético de que se dé, el resultado es totalmente predecible. ¿Cuándo utilizamos eso? Cuando hablamos de leyes y situaciones científicas en general, pero si quiere ser más detallado, lo vamos a utilizar cuando hablamos de hábitos, porque cuando hablamos de hábitos, decíamos por allá en presente simple nivel, ¿qué es eso? Uno, creo que es. Los hábitos son difíciles de modificar, ¿cierto? Porque si usted tiene el hábito de siempre levantarse a las 5:30 de la mañana para hacer ejercicio, para preparar el desayuno, para salir al trabajo, lo que sea, pues hasta los domingos muy probablemente lo haga, porque eso ya es un hábito que para usted pues el hombre es un animal de hábitos, entonces esos hábitos difícilmente cambian, ¿no? Primero, situación número 2, para hablar de situaciones permanentes, lo que le decía. Entonces, si llueve, si tomamos agua, nos hidratamos. Si calentamos el agua a 100 grados centígrados, esta hierve, ¿cierto? Eso es algo totalmente predecible. Y para dar instrucciones. Entonces, las instrucciones entienden que son, entre comillas, órdenes y que usted las sigue para tener un resultado que es 100% predecible. Si usted conecta el cable, pues, del computador, pues el computador va a tener energía. Eso es bastante predecible, ¿cierto? Esa es una instrucción totalmente coherente, ¿sí? Entonces, esa es. La estructura es que vamos a manejar eso con presente simple. La causa va a ser con presente simple, el efecto va a darse con presente simple. La causa va a tener la palabrita if y el efecto nada más, ¿cierto? Si la causa va al principio, necesitamos separar la causa del efecto con una coma, porque podemos intercambiarlo, ¿no? Podemos tener el efecto primero y después la causa. Por ejemplo, si las serpientes están atemorizadas, ellas muerden. O, esa es la causa y el efecto. O, si lo volvemos al revés, las serpientes muerden si ellas están atemorizadas. En los dos casos estoy mencionando una situación predecible, ¿cierto? Presente simple con presente simple, pero primero menciono la causa y luego el efecto, o viceversa, primero el efecto y luego la causa, y en ambos casos utilizo simple present tense. Los condicionales los vamos a utilizar para eso. Así que para el proyecto que usted tiene por evidencia, que le dice cuál es su proyecto de vida, por ejemplo, entonces podría decir, si estudio muy duro si le pongo muchas horas en estos mes y medio que queda de año, ¿cierto? Más bien, si leo 10 páginas al día del libro que estoy leyendo, voy a terminar el libro en, no sé, 4 días, 7 días, no lo sé, ¿cierto? Porque eso es 100% predecible en la medida en que, pues, usted ya mira que le faltan 40 páginas, entonces 4 días le faltan, ¿sí? O si algo predecible, si sigo haciendo ejercicio en el gym, voy a levantar, no sé, voy a seguir levantando 100 kilogramos de peso muerto, me invento, no lo sé, ¿cierto? Eso es 100% predecible porque usted ya se conoce y sabe que ya los ha levantado con anterioridad y ese es su RM, me invento, ¿cierto? Entonces, esa es la idea del simple, del presente simple, no, del condicional cero. Utiliza presente simple como causa y utiliza el presente simple como efecto. Causa y efecto utilizan presente simple, ¿vale? ¿Qué es para lo del proyecto de vida? En este caso, el proyecto de la actividad número 3 y 4, que son la misma, como les decía al principio de la sesión, pero que están separadas en dos mitades. La actividad número 3 es la versión escrita y la actividad número 4 es la versión hablada, porque son la misma cosa, ¿sí? Lo que pasa es que la guía de aprendizaje le dice, venga, utilice condicional 0 y condicional 1, o first y zero conditional, para desarrollar estas actividades, ¿sí? Entonces, bueno, eso es lo que hemos visto a grandes rasgos en resumen de toda esta situación hasta el momento, ¿vale? Listo. I don't know if this is clear now or better now. Pleasure, Gabriela. Whenever you want, by the way. Whenever you want, Anna. Okay, so let's go with some examples. Switch to English because we are talking in English. So if I wake up late, this is something, this is the hypothesis. The effect, the result is, let's suppose, I arrive late to my job. Si me levanto tarde, llego tarde a mi trabajo. Sí, por ejemplo, this is bastante obvio. Make a sentence. In this case, you will have to reorganize. No. You will have to create a sentence with conditional. For example, in this case, Jane eat too much chocolate. Let's remember, simple present tense, when we are talking about a third person of singular, Marcos, Gabriela, the dog, right? The main verb is modified by adding s, es, or ies. So Jane eats, she gets, right? The cause, the beginning, this hypothetical situation, the hypothesis is the first one. Jane eats too much chocolate. This is the beginning, the starting situation. The result or the effect is that she gets sick. So, therefore, to create this sentence, we need to add the word if to the starting situation, to the hypothesis situation, to the starting sentence, and the starting sentence is this, Jane. So if Jane eats too much chocolate, she gets sick. This is the cause, and this is the effect. If Jane eats too much chocolate, she gets sick, or vice versa. Jane gets sick if she eats too much chocolate. So you have to create the sentence using simple present tense, taking into account that the sentence is a zero condition. ¿Vale? And finally, fill the blank. So you will have to complete the sentence taking into account the verbs in braces. So put these plants in the sun. This is the order. If they do not get enough light, why do not? Because we are using simple present tense. And let's remember that with simple present tense, the negative form is do not or does not. But because we are talking about they, the condition, the auxiliary verb is conjugated as do not. So they do not get enough light. They die. Ponga esas plantas en el sol. Hasta ahí no nos interesa. Este pedacito es el que nos interesa. Si ellos no tienen suficiente luz, ellas mueren. This is a prediction, 100%, something that's 100% true. It happens everywhere. So this is the conditional. If they don't get enough light, they die. Or plants die if they don't get enough light. This is exactly the same. So the order is the same. So because we don't have too much time, we are going to, how many are you? You're three. You're going to choose one topic, right? As we have always done. Let's begin with Anna, then Sandra, then Dennis. You're going to choose one category and one score, 2, 3, 4, or 500, and give me the answer in the chat or by opening the microphone, and I'll give you the exercise in the chat for you to complete it at home. ¿Vale? So, Anna, what do you choose? What do you want to choose? Fill the blank, make a sentence, complete the sentence, or true or false?
True or false?
I don't know if you're typing. Okay, true or false? 2, 3, 4, or 500? $300, okay. So if you mix red and blue, you get green. This is true or this is false? If you mix red and blue, you get green. Okay, let's see. And the answer is no, because when you mix yellow and blue, you get green. But when you mix red and blue, you get brown, I guess. Yeah, I don't know these topics either, but because I have a grandson and he's taking these classes, so I have to know this. Okay, let's go with Sandra. So choose true, complete, make a sentence, or fill the blank. And get ready, Dennis.
Teacher, hello. I had a problem with my internet access Now I don't understand this game. I don't know if it's the it is continue.
Okay, because of time, I'm going to choose for you, ¿vale? So let's do it the easiest options and the fastest options. So let's go with true and false. So, okay, true and false. Okay, let's say
True or
this.
false?
Plants die if you don't get enough water. If they, sorry, don't get enough water. This is true or this is false? What do you think?
I think this is true.
Plants die if they do not get enough water.
If get enough water. Yes, I think so.
It's
It's true.
true. Yes, because if they don't have food, it's like us. If we don't eat, we die. So this is pretty much the same. And let's go with Dennis. I'm going to choose for you because we need to do it quickly. When it rains, the grass stays dry. This is true or false? What do you think?
This is
Or if
true.
it rains, the grass stays dry, right? Because we can exchange the word if with when. With when.
It's true.
I'm going to help you, Dennis, ¿vale? So, cuando llueve, la hierba o el césped, it's the same, permanece seco. It's true or false?
It's
What do you
false.
think?
It's false because when it rains, the grass is humid. Or it's false. Teacher, you can hear me?
It's false. Let's see. And yes, it's false because when it rains, the grass doesn't stay dry. It gets wet, right? So this is correct. Okay, I'm going to
Okay.
give you the link of this exercise so you can complete the exercise at home. This is the first exercise. The second exercise is for you to complete this workshop. Here is the explanation of conditional. When we have a condition, we have a result. We use simple present tense with simple present tense. So this is the second exercise. Okay, no worries. Next time, perhaps, don't worry. And okay, that's it. So oh, okay, I didn't hear her. Okay, maybe yes, maybe my audio was having an issue. So I'm sorry for this. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Okay, so vale. Yeah, I think it was my computer's issue. Yeah. Okay, okay. So, but this is the end of today's session. Thank you for letting me know. I will fix this as soon as possible. So, these two exercises, you already know how these work. So, in order to be able to know the answer, you click in here, clicking space bar to know the answer, and escape to go to the main menu. And for exercise number 2, you will have to conjugate the verb in braces. So if it rains, for example, this is pretty obvious. Remember that you need to use simple present tense. And as soon as you finish, you will type or click more precisely hitting finish. Check my answers. If you get a, if your answer is in green, it's because you did an excellent job. If it's in red, it's because you made a mistake, maybe typing mistake. And the idea is for you to get at least a 9/10. The bigger, the better, ¿vale? So this is the last exercise for today's lesson, and I will see you on Saturday on our last class. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know them via Zayuna email or through this chat. ¿Vale? If no, I will see you on Saturday. Thank you for coming, and I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying here today. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.